So there's a few things you're going to want to know about before moving here. In fact, we're talking about the pros and cons of living in Pompano Beach in 2023. So some of these are going to surprise you, so you want to stick around and make sure that you see them all. So let's go ahead and get to it. Hey, it's Kevin Morris of the Morris Group. This is your first time on the channel, living in Fort Lauderdale with Kevin Sues. This is a place to find everything about drinking, dancing, dining, living, working, playing, renting, owning, and kind of just everything hanging around, and of course the pros and cons of living in Pompano Beach. So hit the subscribe button so you can find out when we drop new videos. Okay, any questions, you can give us a call. Our contact information is below. So let's go ahead and get right to the pros and cons of living in Pompano Beach in 2023. Pro number one, the weather. So, folks, the moment you decide to move to Pompano Beach, you can say goodbye to all that nasty winter weather. No more snow, no more cold winds, no more cold rains, no more slush piles, no more slush holes, no more slush potholes and stuff like that due to winter weather. Okay, the temperature gets up to about 93 degrees. Okay, but you're gonna have to get used to some afternoon thunderstorms. We get them every day, almost every day. 15 to 20 minutes, okay? But I'll tell you what, if that's all we're going to get from the standpoint of the inclement weather, then for the most part then it's definitely worth coming down there. Although it can be a con when considering to move with the rain, keep in mind you are basically going to get endless summers here. We have about 240 days of sunshine here in Pompano Beach. In addition, our average temperatures range from 87 to 92 in the summer. It gets down into the low to mid 70s in the wintertime. So basically you're running in that 15 to 20 degree range. So the temperatures are very, very mild. The closer you are to the beach, you get the ocean breeze coming in. If you're close to the intercoastal, you also get the ocean breeze coming in. It's just very, very mild, very temperate weather. So the other thing is that the Gulf Stream down where we're located, it brings warm water in pretty much year round. So in some of the other parts of the country where your opportunity to swim in the ocean is somewhat seasonal, maybe through May through August, May through September, we have folks going in the ocean pretty much year round down here thanks to the nice Gulf Stream. So the weather is definitely a pro down here in Pompano Beach. Con number one, there's a high cost of living here in Pompano Beach. If you compare to most of the rest of the state, Pompano Beach has about a 5% higher cost of living than the rest of the state of Florida, and it's about 11% higher than the rest of the country. You'll need to pay a little bit more for food, you need to pay a little bit more for gas, a little bit more for incidentals. A one-bedroom apartment, for example, can range anywhere from, $800 to $1,100 a month. Single-family homes in Pompano Beach, you're going to be looking at an average cost to rent of about $2,500 for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, up to $3,000. That can and maybe will change during the high season, so it is a little bit more expensive to live up here. Our utility costs are not nearly as severe as the rest of the country in the wintertime, okay? But in the summertime, folks do need to run their air conditioning a whole lot more. Average utility is going to run you about $150 a month for utilities, so you'll need to keep this in mind when budgeting. Also, the cost of some of the incidentals, entertainment, groceries, clothing and stuff like that. It's a little bit higher where we are. A lot of that has to do with just the general location itself and what the market will bear, but it is a little bit higher cost of living in Pompano Beach than it is in the rest of the country. Pro number two. So we've seen a lot of this recently as a result of the pandemic and as a result of a shift in how people are basically living and working. Okay, so and Pompano Beach has really kept pace with this. In fact, in many respects, it's exceeded the pace of the rest of the country. It's a great place for job hunters. Florida as itself, the overall GDP for Florida is, it's the largest in our country, okay, and it actually exceeds many small countries around the world just in the state of Florida itself, which basically speaks to how strong the economy itself is. But it takes a lot of employees and a lot of employers to kind of get to that point, to get that strength in there. So Pompano Beach is a great place. It's got a very strong very low unemployment rate, very strong employment history. And folks, there were spots in the city that were kind of run down, okay, and a lot of that has been changed due to people coming in because they're able to work remotely. They're able to take advantage of what we pointed out before, the nice weather all year round. Okay, they take into consideration some of the things about a little bit higher cost of living. Many employers have gone ahead and adjusted that, like they would adjust for living in or working in bigger cities like Atlanta or New York or Chicago. They haven't got to the point to where they're making the adjustments for LA and San Francisco yet, but they're getting close. The annual income in Pompano Beach is around $48,000, which is considerably higher than the average annual income in most of the other areas of the country that are basically the same size as Pompano Beach. Okay, this is probably one of the reasons why Pompano Beach has become a very, very top destination for both employees coming down with the ability to work remotely and the ability to be here close to the beach and have all of the benefits of being in an endless summer year round. But it's also attracted a lot of employers coming down because they see these trends, they see what's happening, and a lot of employers are moving down here. And Pompano Beach's employer kind of the industries that have expanded significantly. We used to be primarily tourism. Now we're seeing high tech, we're seeing healthcare, we're seeing regular technology, we're seeing financial services. There's all and not to mention the entertainment and all the entertainment type things that are going on. Ticket agencies, ticket brokers, they're taking advantage of all the venues that are down in around the area, outside within Pompano Beach and outside of Pompano Beach. So there's been a significant increase in both the employer count coming down here and the diversity of the industries that are being represented. All of this translates into a very, very strong job market for folks here in Pompano Beach. Con number 2, safety. So, according to Neighborhood Scout, one of the sites that we go to look at to kind of get a feel for safety, Pompano Beach has some challenges when it comes to crime and safety. The crime rate is 10 on a scale of 100, which is not very good overall. Pompano Beach does cover a wide diversity of areas. Crime rate's about 35.5 per 1,000 people here. Not exactly the best rate, but keep in mind Pompano Beach is made up of a number of different areas. Some of them are in different stages of being rebuilt up, redeveloped, and whatnot. So you're going to have a little bit of crime coming through there. Basically niche.com gives Pompano Beach a grade of a C when it comes to overall safety. 63% of the residents in Pompano Beach feel that there's some crime, but it doesn't really impact them directly or significantly. And 42% of the folks in Pompano Beach say that the police are very, very responsive and they're very, very good at what they're doing. So now, the crime has decreased about 36% year over year, kind of putting it on par with cities like San Jose and Anaheim. But the chance of, according to the FBI, the chance of experiencing a violent crime in Pompano Beach is 1 in 28. Not exactly the greatest. I mean, it is improving. It has improving, and it's continuing to improve. Okay, as more and more folks are coming in. Okay, more and more changes are being done, and the city is aware of that, and they're doing a lot of things that they can do, that they need to do to kind of help it out. Okay, but for right now, if safety is a consideration, and for most folks it is, okay, Pompano Beach does have some challenges. In all transparency to folks, that's one of the things that Susan and I are really, really into. We basically tell you the good, we tell you the bad, and we'll tell you the ugly as it stands. So Pompano Beach does have some challenges when it comes to safety, when it comes to crime. Something to definitely consider when you are looking at, thinking about moving here to Pompano Beach, Florida. Con number 3. The schools. The schools in Pompano Beach fall within the lower 50% of the schools in the nation. Okay, essentially, schools in Pompano Beach, Broward County has the 6th largest school system in the nation, and candidly, there are some challenges with the public school system, which is no doubt leading to the preponderance of charter schools, magnet schools, and private schools. But basically, public schools in Pompano Beach fall within the lower 50% of the nation. There are 12, from the standpoint of elementary schools, kind of breaking it down to the different schools themselves. Elementary schools, there's 12 elementary schools in Pompano Beach. The public elementary schools, they're rated at 48.2 out of 100. Again, in the lower 50% thing. Among the elementary school students, about 14.5 or 15% are actually enrolled in private, parochial, or non-public type schools. So, in middle schools in Pompano Beach, there's 2 middle schools in Pompano Beach. The public middle schools rated 47.2, again a little bit lower than the elementary schools, again in the lower 50%. Okay. Among the middle schools, 16% of them them are enrolled in non-public schools and private schools, parochial schools, or non-public schools, non-public school system. And the high school, there are 4 high schools in Pompano Beach, and they're rated 47.4% out of 100. Again, not the greatest schools, not the greatest rating in the school systems down here. You know, and 13.5% of the high school students are actually enrolled in non-public schools and private schools, parochial schools. So you see kind of a trend from the standpoint of getting into the middle schools and getting into the high schools, where you're seeing an increase in the number of students that are being enrolled in the non-public school system. Okay. The average percentage of students proficient in math in Pompano Beach is about 40%, which is not great. That's 44%. I mean, you know, arts, reading and language is a little bit higher, 56%, but still way below the national average, which I believe is 58%. So there are some challenges that are reaching it. Now, according to the website Dwellix, this may be due in large part to what they're paying the teachers. The average salary for teachers is about $30,000. Very, very low on a scale, especially for a school system that's the size of Broward County school system. Okay, and the other part of it is the ratio of students to teachers. In elementary school, it's about 16%. You know, 60%, the middle school is about 20%, and high school is about 31%. So it's a very, very high teacher to student ratio, which kind of makes things a little bit more difficult in there. One of the things that I thought was very, very interesting, especially seeing how Suze is a retired teacher, is that according to Dwellix, one of the sites we use to kind of get information on school systems and information on education, the competitions and HOA competitions for STEM and non-STEM fields around the country, there's only one winner that came out of Pompano Beach in the last 5 years. Very, very low, especially for a school system of this size, and especially for a school system with the numbers of students that are in there. So again, there are some challenges. If education is important for you and your consideration for moving to Pompano Beach, something you definitely want to take into consideration, take a look around. Now, kind of in response to this, we have seen a significant increase in the number of private schools, parochial schools, charter schools, and magnet schools, all of which are they're a little bit different than the public school system. They follow a little different curriculum. They have different ratios. They have different requirements. They also have a cost that are associated with them, especially the private schools and the parochial schools. There's a cost associated with them, but there are alternatives if education is a consideration and you are worried about the quality of the public school education that your children would get here in Pompano Beach. Pro number 3, okay folks, there's a ton of things to do. There's plenty of things to do here in Pompano Beach. There's tons of local events and festivals that are going on. And the city hosts several kind of unique festivals and unique events that are going on throughout the year. I mean, basically throughout the year, not just grouped around the holidays or not just grouped around certain things that are going on. There's a Pompano Beach Seafood Festival that goes on. There's a Pompano Beach Wine Festival. It's a very, very dressy type of an occasion that goes on. I mean, there's this annual Brazilian Fest where you can kind of check out, you can sample South American cuisine. There's all kinds of live music, celebrations. There's the St. Coleman Italian Festival that goes on. There's a holiday boat parade that's one of the largest in the country, if not the largest in the country, that kind of goes up and down the Intracoastal Waterway over the holidays. There's a beach fest. There's a huge beach. There's a Beach Fest music festival that's going on, and there's an annual pineapple jamboree where people just kind of hang out and you taste all kinds of tasty brews and fancy brews that are going on. Just everybody kind of gets around to kind of show you what's going on, what's happening out there from the standpoint of cuisine, food, and drink. Okay, Pompano Beach is also becoming something of a mecca for local arts and culture. There's a creative arts district in the downtown of Pompano Beach. There's a huge, with a rotating art exhibit. There's a huge following of the live ballet at the Pompano Beach Cultural Center. There's a Bailey Contemporary Arts Center, which showcases a lot of the local artists as well as some national artists that are very well renowned. There's a big, you can learn about the African American community at the Alley Cultural Arts Center. Okay, and if you want to know more about Pompano Beach's history itself, go to the Blanche Ely House Museum. All kinds of information about Pompano Beach and the South Florida area, as far as how things kind of got started, the roles that different people played in it. Very, very interesting. So there are a number of things to do, and these are things that are available for adults, for family, for everybody. So it's a lot of things that you can do here in Pompano Beach to kind of keep things going on and keep everybody's attention. Con number 4, crowds. Pompano Beach, like most Florida cities, is prone to attracting crowds, especially during the time of the year when the rest of the country is experiencing cold weather or experiencing snow or freezing weather. Okay, I'll preface this by saying that there are folks that to whom crowds are a problem. There are folks to whom crowds doesn't really matter. We're some of the latter. Crowds don't really bother us that much, but you're going to see the impact of the increase in the population, increase of crowding coming through. You're going to see it, for example, in traffic. Traffic is going to become even a bigger issue when there's a lot more folks around here. Pompano Beach can experience an increase of over 50% in its normal population during the high season, especially during the holidays between Thanksgiving and New Year's. There'll be a significant increase in the number of folks coming down here. Some of them are folks that homes down here and they're just coming down for a portion of the year. Some of them are folks that are just coming down to visit. Some of them are folks that are trying to escape the cold and the wind and the wet from the rest of the country. But you will see that in traffic. You'll also see it in increased wait times and increased lines in restaurants and shopping and going grocery shopping and everything else. Okay, we've seen it in some of our favorite places, some of our favorite restaurants. We've seen it. The other thing is that when you have especially events going on, for example, we had the Orange Bowl here last year. A huge number of people came down to watch the college playoff semifinals for the Orange Bowl down at Hard Rock Stadium just outside of Miami, and folks are staying. They look to stay all over the place. You'll see those kind of things going on when the Dolphins play some of their AFC rivals. For example, the New England Patriots or the New York Jets. You'll see people coming down just for those kind of games. You'll see an increase in the number of people. Okay, but folks, you got to kind of take this kind of all with a grain of salt. I mean, it's tourism. Okay, and South Florida, even though the industry itself has expanded, you see, our foundation is in tourism. Folks come down here because there's things to see and there's things to do when the rest of the country doesn't have that ability to be outside. They're coming down here to swim. They're coming down here to surf. They're coming down here to fish. They're coming down here to be outside, to golf and play tennis. Okay, and it's the foundation is in tourism, and folks come down here because it's been a tourist haven for many years. In fact, many decades. So, fortunately or unfortunately, tourism does play a role in it. Despite, as I said, the increase in industries outside of tourism, and when folks do come down, it does result in increased crowd. Just something to consider. If crowds are not your thing, then you maybe need to think when you're going to come down here to visit. When you're going to come to visit Pompano Beach. Pro number 4, okay, folks. It's the beach. I mean, it's in our name and it's in the DNA of the city. I mean, with over 3 miles of public access beach in Pompano Beach, there's tons of fun to have at the beach. I mean, there's all kinds of ways that you can enjoy the salt, sand, and sun here in Pompano Beach. Folks, you can swim, you can sunbathe, you can picnic on the beach, you can head over to the pier to experience the ocean view. You can head over to the pier to go fishing. You can rent jet skis. You can from like KC Jet Ski and Water Sports if you want to go out there and kind of shoot around the Atlantic Ocean or shoot around the Intercoastal Waterway. You can spend the day at Kite Public Beach and try your hand at kiteboarding. Something we've looked at. And I admire the folks that are doing that. I think it's a cool thing to do. Haven't quite got up the the courage to go out and do it myself as of yet. But it's something that's very, very cool to do. One of our favorite places is North Ocean Park. It's one of the most beautiful beaches around. It's very, very relaxing, very, very laid back. You can kind of go there and just kind of sit back and bask and enjoy in the sun and the ambiance of what's going on. Being relaxing. Pompano Beach is it's a haven for people doing fishing. Whether you want to go deep sea fishing off of one of the boats that are going out from Pompano Beach, whether you want to go fishing off of the pier, they just completely rebuilt the pier, the huge new Pompano Beach pier that's actually shaped like a pompano. Ironically, ironically or not ironically. And it has the ability. You have the little things you can see, kind of what's going on in the water there. Tons and tons of folks have been out there. In fact, we were out there not too long ago and watched somebody basically trying to bring in a 6-foot lemon shark, which was very, very cool to watch. Suzanne got a nice little video of that. So and it was very, very interesting. You can go charter fishing with Naughty Girl Sports Fishing for kind of a really big. Hopefully you can land that marlin or land that big fish. You can hop on a kayak and go out and try to get some local game fish that are closer to shore. There's all kinds of fishing stuff. They even have a fishing rodeo, an annual fishing rodeo that you can try your hand and compete with other folks around fishing. So fishing is a huge, huge thing here in Pompano Beach. Pompano Beach is also, folks come down here to go scuba diving and go skin diving. There's some natural reefs you can explore. You can go out and kind of head out on to South Florida diving to go check out what's out there, some of the local reefs that you can see, kind of hang out. If you're kind of a little more relaxed, you just want to kind of go snorkeling, you can kind of walk out from the beach, put on your mask, your fins, and your snorkel, and just kind of float along with the current so you can kind of see what's going on. Beautiful clear water that you can see down 20-25 feet, kind of relax and see what's kind of happening. You can opt for sunset cruises that you can take advantage of right at the beach. Folks, as I said, the beach is in our DNA, and the beach is basically in kind of what we do. As a matter of fact, in order to make it a little bit easier, the city just recently built a new parking garage. It's got 670 spots in it so that people can come visit the beach and they're not impeded by traffic, impeded by parking. So they're encouraging you to come out and see the beach and all the new things that are going on. Pro number 5, dining and cuisine. So when it comes to cuisine, Pompano Beach has everything from basically fine dining establishments to kind of laid back, kind of where the locals kind of hang out. So you can sit back and you can enjoy views of the Atlantic off the Pompano Beach Pier at Oceanic. There's some incredible food there at Oceanic. You can go to Gianni's, which is just right in from the beach, and it's some fantastic Italian food. I will certainly personally recommend the Via Parmesan, and they make this unbelievable fettuccine Alfredo. It's just incredible. So you can kind of see some of the diversity of that. Go to La Vie and get some Mediterranean food if Mediterranean food is what you're interested in. Very, very good, very, very popular restaurant, La Vie. You can go to Cafe Max, get endless Sunday mimosas and basically Bloody Marys on Sunday. They have an incredible menu there. From what we've been told, we've never had the steak there ourselves. We've been there for the brunches, but the steak is to die for. It's fantastic. Even the Rabbit's Hole, which is basically a vegan place. If you're leaning more towards a vegan lifestyle, that you have options and opportunities around that from a cuisine perspective. The Pompano Beach, the beach house in Pompano itself, that's on the beach. I mean, the short rib roll, the tuna poke salad. I mean, it's just incredible stuff there. You can go check out the Sweet Rustic Bake Shop for some of the sweets that go in there, some of the things that are the little bakes, the bakings that they do, the toffee pudding. It's just fantastic. My mouth is watering. I'm sorry, my mouth is watering on that. The other thing is that one of the newer things here in Pompano Beach is we're seeing a significant increase in the whole craft brewing type of a thing. So there are a number of places that are opening up for craft brewing. You can go to 26 Degrees Brewing, which is basically a dog-friendly place. You can take your furry four-legged friend with you to go there. They do all kinds of neat brews there. You can go to the Flamingo Brewing Company, which is a little bit different, kind of the fruity taste of some of the brews that are there. Again, if it's the ales and the IPAs are kind of your passion in there. The Bang and Banjo Brewing Company, they have a Moodoo Voodoo Stout, which I think one of our kids has said it was very, very good. Our kids are very much into the craft brewing industry, and so when they come down, we get a chance to take them around and sample everything that's kind of going on down there, and they love it. There's a mango Marauder Golden Wild Ale at the Odd Breed Wild Ales, just if ales are kind of your thing. For something new, check out Broski Cider Works. I mean, it's basically the passion fruit, mango, and there's strawberry lemonade, craft ciders, just all kinds of great things that you can try. So there's all kinds of things that are happening down, tastes that appeal to everybody. Con number 5. Okay, so severe weather. Now, we talked about weather as being a pro, okay, which is terrific, but we do get despite our 240 days of sunshine, we do get periods of potentially severe weather, okay? And I'm not talking about the pop-up rain showers that appear every afternoon or every other afternoon. Those ones that are kind of designed to basically kind of push that humidity up over that 90% range into the high 90s and sometimes 100% to kind of make it so that every day now becomes a bad hair day, as Suze will tell you. Now, I'm talking about the ones that are the damages that come from hurricanes, okay? Now, hurricane season officially runs from June through November, but what we've really seen is the majority of the stuff comes through in the September, October, November timeframe. Okay, we've been fortunate in that we've either experienced either the leading edge of the storm that kind of swings to the west, or we've experienced a trailing edge of the storm. And in fact, we actually experienced both of those this year, with Ian coming through in September and with Nicole coming through in November. But the hurricanes, I mean, those are something that every folks need to be aware of. If you've never experienced one, think of it as a long-term volcano, if you've never experienced a hurricane, think of it as a tornado that is basically running for a long period of time. Heavy rains, high winds that can result in flooding, depending upon how close you are to the beach or to a significant body of water. Storm surge gets created. Okay, I mean it can be very damaging. Okay, now that all being said, okay, the city of Pompano Beach and South Florida as a whole have done an incredible job of getting things prepared for that. There's a hurricane preparedness, there's evacuation routes, there's all kinds of things that go on as soon as we get storm warnings that are coming in, and we're able to get those usually 2, 3, 4 days in advance, so we kind of know what's going on. One thing that I've never been able to understand, nobody's ever explained it to me, is that we lived in Virginia and had snowstorms. When we lived in Georgia and Atlanta had Snowmageddon back in 1996. Okay, and now even when we have hurricane storm warnings or hurricane storm watches down here, regardless of where you are in the country, everybody goes and buys the same thing at the grocery store: milk, bread, eggs, and toilet paper. Can't figure it out. I mean, I just can't figure it out. Maybe some other folks have experienced other things. If you have, let us know. Drop a little comment below. Let us know what the things are when you experience inclement weather in your area. Let us know what it is. I'd love to find somebody that's getting something different. They brought hurricane emergency preparedness that's down here. It's truly second to none. They have things in place for evacuation routes. They have alternatives. If you're right on the beach and you need to come inland, there are places that are set up. Price gouging rules and laws go into effect almost immediately. Gas stations are opening up. People just open up. I mean, it's truly very, very impressive as to how they handle this and how well they're prepared for it. Okay. Despite all this, it's just something, again, you need to be aware of if you're contemplating a move to Pompano Beach or South Florida. Okay, there are a potential for hurricanes, and if you've never experienced it, hurricanes can be a little bit daunting. As a matter of fact, the first one that we experienced down here is going back a number of years. It was back to Irma, and essentially they talked about it for days. Actually, they talked about it for over a week. It was coming. Suze was out visiting her twin sister out in Dallas, going there. So I was giving her updates and everything else, and they had forecasted all this nastiness coming through. And at the last minute, it swung to the southwest and kind of went in. Now, it did swing up and hit some of our neighbors on the west coast, west coast of Florida, out in Naples and Fort Myers, much like Ian did. But in South Florida, from the standpoint of Pompano Beach in South Florida, again, it talks about how well they're prepared for it and how much notification they give, and all the things that are put in place for it. So it's something to consider, but we do have very, very good controls and very, very good information available to kind of help people get through these types of situations. Folks, hopefully you found our video interesting, you found it informative, you found it entertaining. If you did, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and hit the little bell to get notified every time we drop a new video, so you kind of see what's going on. Share the videos with your family and your friends so that they can get the 411 on what's happening in Pompano Beach, what's happening in South Florida. Okay. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the box below. You can hit us up. Our phone numbers are down there, our name, our email address. Okay, you can ask us any questions you have. Or if you want to kind of bypass all that stuff, you can go ahead and just sign up on a Zoom link for a calendar. We can have a conversation about anything and everything that you're interested in regards to real estate and real estate related issues here in Pompano Beach. So until next time.